The home of the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. Hey yo, this is Rocky Balboa. And if you liberal spastics out there don't like the OCF calling you out about dragging your politics into our sports, yo, well then you can kiss his country ass. That's right, KMCA to all the liberal spastics. Well, thank you, Rocky. Thank you for that fine endorsement, brother. Now go make Rocky Part 9. And by the way, Rocky, we all know you never would have beat Apollo Creed in Part 2. Hey, yo, I'm out of here. That's right, I had a few people blowing up my DMs telling me they were going to unsubscribe because I was talking about politics on a sports channel. Well, you see, it's okay when they want to talk about it. When they want to drag transgender agendas into our sports, most notably women's sports, and then they want to push their transgender agenda on everybody and their political views as far as voting for that spastic that's in office right now, Joe Biden and his crackhead son. It's all good, right? It's a double standard. You want everybody to talk about it when you want them to talk about it, as long as they're agreeing with you. If I was talking about it and I was agreeing with you and I was pushing Joe Biden, y'all be okay with it. So go ahead, unsubscribe, be my guest. But I got a little parting song for all of you. It goes a little something like this. Spastic nation, Joe Biden and his crackhead son. Spastic nation, they want everything Chinese run. Spastic nation, no. That's right. And today's topic is Bob Stoops is calling out Colin Cowherd once again, or as I like to say, Colin Cowherd. Will Colin Cowherd sit down and actually debate with Bob Stoops face to face? Let's talk about it. I want to expound on something from last week. Once again, Bob Stoops calls out Colin Cowherd. I touched on a little bit in my last podcast, but I really wanted to give it a little more in-depth look, as I'm also hearing murmurings that maybe, some people suggest that maybe Bob Stoops should be on Colin Cowherd's program and we'll have a discerning, different, debatable point of view than Colin's version of the truth. But before we get to all that, I would like to say we are now growing as far as the Outlaw Posse goes. Here they come once again, riding on in. Once again, the Outlaw Posse's in effect, and we got 2 new members. Pushes us up to the best basketball number of all time, 23, of the great Michael Jordan. And those 2 new members that are deputized now and have their badge and are saddled up and mounted up and ready for the football invasion, are Zach Hamner and Kathy Clark. They're the newest members of the Outlaw Posse. If you want to get deputized, get your badge, and be in the Outlaw Posse, it's not but $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. It's a little join button next to the subscribe button. If you're on an Apple phone, you have to go to computer or laptop because for some reason, Apple does not, for some reason you just can't do YouTube membership or channel memberships through Apple phones. Also, we had a few donations to the program. Heath Stokes with a big $20 donation, and Ariel Fisher. Appreciate the hell out of those donations. Really amazes me more and more every day, the support that people are giving this show and this program. It keeps us up and motivated. And, as promised, you get a 4 horseman shout out once a week once you're an Outlaw Posse. And the 4 horsemen today that are helping us invade are Rob, J.D. Wilmoth, Billy Townsend, and Storm 4601. That's right. They're mounted up and they're ready for the college football invasion this week. Now, this is the Outlaw of College Football, and I can be found on Twitter at OCF Productions. Now, let's get right to it here. A buddy of mine, Fred Polik, might be mispronouncing his last name. He's got a blog that he does, or a website. It's called fredsportsextra.com. Check that out. He made the suggestion that maybe, just maybe, Bob Stoops and Colin Cowherd need to have a sit-down debate. Have a little talking, so to speak. You know, you have Lincoln Riley on there ad nauseum. You had, you interviewed him 2 or 3 times now, and you have all these left coast wieners on there all the time. Why don't you move a little further inland and have some variety? So have some fairness about your program, Colin. Don't you want to be considered a fair journalist or a fair podcaster or a fair TV show, whatever you want to call your little spastic show that you're doing? Bob would be a pretty good adversary, because Bob made some very good points that basically shoot down everything you said. It's exactly the same thing that I was saying about Nebraska being far removed geographically from where they were used to being when they joined the Big Ten. Oklahoma and Texas, they're joining a conference where the recruiting ground is already where they're recruiting. Colin made a stupid reference about, well, Oklahoma's a small state and they're only getting 3 recruits from it. Well, that's the way it's always been, idiot. And I think he knows that. He's just saying stuff and hoping that people don't investigate and look into it. Well, we are, Colin. We investigate because the common Joes and Sallies that know of college football, we love our sports. We love our college teams. We're passionate about them. So the shit you're throwing against the wall, it's not really sticking, man. Because Nebraska is like so displaced geographically. When they went and joined the Big Ten, their recruiting bases were in the Texas area, maybe Missouri, maybe Louisiana a little bit, not Ohio and Pennsylvania, Michigan, and New York. So that was the biggest thing right there they didn't take into account when they joined. And Oklahoma and Texas, I said before, they only got 3 recruits from the state of Oklahoma. Most of their stuff comes from Texas. Because I said in the last podcast, state lines don't matter. Because Oklahoma's alumni and fan base go well into the Dallas area and probably even further down. I mean, Oklahoma has been able to recruit Texas since day one. And that's how they stay competitive, is they're able to recruit outside the state of Oklahoma, just like Alabama does. Alabama's not a big state. Alabama don't get a bunch of their recruits from Alabama. So once again, it's just straw grasping by Colin. So he knows Bob Stoops is much more formidable than Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley is going to give him exactly what he wants and going to tell him exactly what he wants to hear. Bob Stoops is just going to tell you exactly what he thinks, what he really thinks. Lincoln Riley's not going to do that. Bob Stoops is going to come over there because, you see, Bob Stoops would be like having, if Lincoln Riley would be Dylan Mulvaney compared to Joe Rogan in a debate. That's what it would be like. Bob Stoops is a much more knowledgeable person. He's a much more seasoned coach and man overall. I mean, this dude was a defensive coordinator under Steve Spurrier, who's one of the biggest offensive geniuses of all time, and yet he was able to have a great defense with an offensive genius at the same time. And that's very rare, because usually them offensive geniuses, they don't really adhere to trying to help the defense out. But he was able to coach a good defense there, and he went on to win a national championship at Oklahoma, something that Lincoln Riley couldn't do. And he just doesn't seem like he would run at the first sign of turmoil like Lincoln Riley did. Old Tebow, as they call him here in Oklahoma, that stands TBOW, it stands for the bitch out west. He bitched out and he run when the SEC came a-calling. You see Bob Stoops running? No, Bob Stoops, as a matter of fact, come out of retirement just to coach Oklahoma. Bob Stoops also has a championship in professional football, albeit XFL. One of the rare coaches that have been able to win a championship in both college football and a version of professional football. So that's why this debate will probably never happen, because Colin Cowherd is called Cowherd by me for a reason, because I can see right through him. I would love it if he's seen this show and it maybe antagonized him into doing it and he backed himself in the corner. Because I can guarantee you this, Bob Stoops would own his ass in a live debate, in my opinion. It just basically comes down to the fact that he wants Los Angeles and California and that area to succeed so badly that he's willing to say and embellish anything. When are you going to get it through y'all's head, man? It really has nothing to do with sports. It's the reason why things are the way they are out there. And it's trickling into your sports. It's causing people not want to be out there. Of course, you're going to get your fair share of recruits because we can't have them all. I mean, Alabama can't get them all. Georgia can't get them all. There's a limit. But you're not going to get the best in recruits, because when they come to Los Angeles and they see the shit style that city is, homeless by choice, shitting in the streets, most recruits ain't going to come there unless they have nefarious intentions, in my opinion. That's all I got to say about that. You guys and gals, tell me what you think about this. You think that Bob Stoops and Bob Stoops and Colin Cowherd should have a sit-down debate? Well, hell, yeah, invite Lincoln Riley too. I mean, I might accidentally stumbled onto something. Invite Lincoln Riley too. You can have a handicap debate match. It'll be you and Lincoln Riley, old Colin Cowherd, versus Bob Stoops. And if Bob Stoops needs a partner, well, hell, I'm an unbiased observer. I'm an Alabama fan. Invite me. Be me and Bob, saddled up, riding on in. And that's all I got to say about that. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Also, I got a Cash App that you can hit if you want to cut the middleman out and give all the money to the program. I got a Cash App link I'm going to put in the description. Also, there's a little heart down here. It's a little thanks button you can hit. One-time donation real quick as well. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.